Okay, students. So in the last session, we have discussed about mixtures, isn't it? Homogeneous as well as heterogeneous mixture. So actually, whatever may be the kind of mixture, they can be separated by means of physical methods. It may be crystallization, it may be filtration, it may be simply hand picking. ಈಗ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ this grains and pulses. We can easily separate them by means of physical methods, by hand picking. There are some methods called crystallization. There we can separate the salt and the other components. So like that, whatever may be the kind of mixtures, these mixtures can be separated purely by means of physical methods. Whereas in case of compounds, the constituent particles cannot be separated by means of physical methods. So like that, you just distinguish these two components, compounds and the mixtures, okay, and try to write the differences between compounds and mixtures. So let me give you some examples. If I take air, what kind of mixture it is? Homogeneous. If I take salt solution, it is again homogeneous mixture. If I take oil in water, that is an example of heterogeneous mixture. Sand mixed with salt, heterogeneous mixture. If I take CO2, it is a compound. If I take copper, it is an element. So that means in the examination they may ask, try to differentiate these things or try to give the names or the classes in which they are going to belongs. So be prepared for the different kind of examples, and if possible note down those examples. Now we will step down to the next part, that is properties of matter and their measurements. Actually, the properties of matter is broadly divided into two parts. One, physical properties and chemical properties. So physical property, the name itself indicates, it is purely an external properties. It is purely an external properties, that the properties which do not affect the identity of a substance. Such examples, you can take the melting point of a substance, boiling point of a substance. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius, but when it is entering from liquid to vapors, it do not lose its identity. In liquid also it is H2O, in vapor state also it is H2O. Such type of properties where the identity of the substance is remained intact, such type of properties we call it as physical. But in case of chemical properties, it is the inner properties, innate properties, that is the reactivity of the substance. Here the substance or the matter lose its identity. For example, when carbon reacts with oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide. That means carbon do not retain its identity, neither carbon nor oxygen. So therefore such properties we call it as chemical properties. Reaction with acids, reaction with bases, all these are the examples for chemical properties. So physical properties you can take color, odor, melting point, boiling point, density, all these are purely physical properties which can be physically perceived, physically we felt about that character. So that is about the physical properties. And chemical properties point of view, it may be composition, it may be combustibility reactions, it may be reaction with acids or base or salts, whatever may be the type of reaction where the matter or the substance completely lost its identity after the reaction. A new product will be formed. But in case of physical properties, the substance retain its identity even after it undergoes the particular change. Next, so here physical properties can be measured. are observed without changing the identity of the composition of a substance, whereas chemical properties purely requires a chemical change to occur. Next, a particular chemist explains the complete behavioral aspects of the matter only after knowing its physical and chemical properties. That means a chemist describe, interpret and predict the behavioral aspects of the substance on the basis of the knowledge of their physical as well as chemical properties. So that is about the another important word. That means we come to know about that matter only when we receive its physical and chemical characteristic properties. Both these properties give the complete information about the a particular substance, what kind of nature it has, what type of applications can be drawn from that substance. Next, we will step down to the next part called measurement of physical properties. So here quantitative measurement of properties is required for scientific investigation. Physical properties are explained always quantitatively. You can take the physical properties whatever it may be. So all these physical properties are explained quantitatively, and this quantitative measurement of these properties required for the scientific investigation. Scientific investigation means clear explanation of the matter. Now, any quantitative observation or measurement is represented by a number followed by units in which it is measured. For example, I can take the length. Length of the room is 6 meter or 6 centimeter. That means here the 6 is the number, whereas centimeter or meter is nothing but the unit. So that means all the physical quantities, it may be length, it may be volume, it may be temperature, it may be time, whatever may be the physical quantity, whatever may be the physical properties, all they are measured by the number followed by the units in which it is going to be measured. Okay. Now, so actually when we are talking about the measurement of physical quantities or physical properties, earlier there were two different systems of measurement are there. One we call it as English system and another one we call it as metric system. So here already you are very much familiar with the units. For example, MKS system, FPS system, CGS system. That means these systems are used to explain the quantitative measurement of physical properties or physical quantities. So to here, for example, if you take in the MKS system, meter, kilogram and second are the units for length, and mass as well as the time. In case of FPS, foot, pound and second. In CGS, centimeter, gram and second. That means every country are developing their own way to present these physical quantities measurements, but it is little bit difficult to know, difficult to understand or difficult to convert those units into the respective units. So therefore, to avoid this, so to overcome with this problem, one more system was introduced, that we call it as SI system, that is Systeme International. So that is the international system of units. So here actually it is derived from French terminology. French terminology which means Les Systèmes International d'Unités, abbreviated as SI, Système International d'Unités. So actually this was established by the 11th General Conference on Weights and Measures, that is CGPM, that is Conference Generale des Poids et Measures. So this system very much helpful, very much useful to avoid the confusions, to avoid the conversions of units. So they have mentioned the standard units with their standard values. So in that connection, here actually there are 7 physical quantities are considered as the base units. There are 7 physical quantities are considered as the base units. One we call it as length, symbol of that is L, name of the SI unit is meter, and the symbol is m. Like that, mass, that is m, kilogram and kg, time, small t, second, and S is the unit, sorry, S is the symbol of that unit, electric current, I, ampere, then thermodynamic temperature, that is T, Kelvin is the unit, K is the symbolic representation, amount of a substance, that is N, and name of that unit is mole, MOL is the symbolic representation, luminous intensity, okay, that is expressed candela, CD, okay. So that means there are 7 base units are taken for the Système International, and the rest are derived, the rest units are derived by using these base units. Now here there are some definitions are there, what actually the meter is, what actually the kilogram, what actually the second, what actually the ampere. So these definition you just go through so that you will come to know what actually the meter or kilogram or second or ampere, because all the 7 units are defined scientifically. That is the very important point. If we want to explain the meter, so here by taking the definite values, that is the speed of light in vacuum, speed of the light in the vacuum, okay. So like that, every unit has its own scientific explanation, okay. You just go through any textbook, there you will find the definitions of these units, okay. Now so here Kelvin, mole and candela are also given to you. Now another important, later after this session we'll have the problems on this prefixes and suffixes in the SI system, prefixes and the suffixes. Particularly we are mainly concentrating on prefixes only. Mathematical point of view, we are always preferring prefixes used in the SI system, okay. So there are different components are there. For example, one or two examples here I am going to quote. Nano is 10 to the power of minus 9. Nano is 10 to the power of minus 9. And if you take kilo, it is 10 to the power of 3. So dear students, it is my earnest request, go through these units and write it in a separate notebook. While going for the problem section, when we entered into the problem section, at that time I will recall all these points and I will explain how they are going to be converted from one unit to another unit. So this is my earnest request to you people, go through these points, okay. So here different units are there and their symbols are also there, okay. So here you just go through this table, or if it is possible you just write it. Next comes mass and weight. Actually mass of a substance is the amount of matter, is the amount of matter present in it. Try to concentrate this word. Mass of a substance is the amount of matter present in it, whereas weight is the force exerted by gravity on an object. So here what is actually mass of a substance? It is the amount of matter which is present in that substance, whereas weight is the force exerted by gravity on an object. That means now you will come to know which one is a constant and which one varies from place to place. That is, mass of a substance is constant always. Mass of a substance is always constant, whereas its weight may vary from one place to another. This is purely due to change in gravity. ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ವೇಟ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರ್ತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಮೂನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ವೇಟ್ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ಲಿ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ವೇಟ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಗ್ರಾವಿಟೇಷನಲ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್. ಆದರೆ ಮಾಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್, whereas weight is the force exerted by gravity on an object. Next, mass of a substance is constant, whereas its weight may vary from place to place because purely it is due to change in gravity. Okay, now the SI unit of mass is kilogram. The SI unit of mass is kilogram. Next we will concentrate on volume. Okay, now actually what is volume? Because these are the some properties, or you can say some kind of fundamental units which are regularly used or regularly come in contact with the subject when we are going to explain the things. So here one more concept that we call it as volume. What is volume actually? Volume is the amount of space. Volume is the amount of space occupied by the substance. So that means it is the amount of space that was occupied, covered by the substance. It has the unit in the form of L cube because volume, length, breadth and height, isn't it? So therefore it is taken as length cube. In the SI system we are using meter cube as unit, but for our convenience we may convert in the form of cm cube, that is centimeter cube, because in the laboratory explanation or while doing the experiments, instead of meter cube it is necessary or it is very easy to explain the things in the form of centimeters. So therefore sometimes we may use not the SI units rather than other units for to explain or to know little bit better explanation for that particular subject. So here actually it is meter cube, and for our convenience or in the laboratory smaller volumes can also be used like cm cube or dm cube units. Okay, so that is about the volume. Next, a common unit liter, which is not an SI unit, actually a common unit called liter, is regularly used, but it is not a what? SI unit. It is not a SI unit, but still in the laboratory purely we are using liter concept to express the volume, okay, particularly liquids. So here 1 liter is always equals to 1000 ml milliliter, 1000 ml milliliter. 1 liter is equals to 1000 milliliter. Like that, 1000 cm cube is equals to 1 dm cube, decimeter cube. 1000 cm cube is equals to 1 dm cube. Next, so here in the laboratory we have a special kind of apparatus. We have a special type of apparatus or glasswares. By using those glasswares or apparatus, we are measuring the volumes. For example, it may be graduated cylinder, it may be burette, or you can say burette or pipette. So these are volumetric flasks. These are the some kind of glasswares, or you can say apparatus, which are regularly used to measure the volume, of a solution. Now here you can see the first figure represents burette, the second figure represents pipette, the third one is measuring jar, or you can say graduated cylinder or measuring cylinder. The fourth one is volumetric flask. So here volumetric flask is regularly used to prepare the known concentration solution with a definite volume. Next comes density. What actually density is? Density of a substance is its amount of mass per unit volume. What is actually density? Density is equals to mass by volume. That means amount of mass per unit volume. That is the definition of density. And if you go with the SI unit of density, that can be calculated as SI unit of density is equals to SI unit of mass divided by SI unit of volume. So SI unit of mass, as you already know, kg, kilogram, divided by volume is expressed in terms of meter cube. So therefore I can say SI unit of density is kg per meter cube. But generally in the laboratory, while solving the problems, we are using gram per cm cube. Density in the laboratory and while solving the problems, instead of kg per meter cube, we are regularly using gram per cm cube. So that is about the density. Now we will switch on to temperature. Okay, now temperature, there are 3 common scales are used to measure the temperature. One we call it as degree Celsius, another one we call it as degree Fahrenheit, and third one is Kelvin. So here Kelvin is the SI unit. Okay, so actually there are 3 common scales by which the temperature is going to be measured in the chemistry. One degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, and another one is Kelvin. Okay, so here Kelvin is regularly used as SI unit. Next, generally, if you look at the thermometer, there you will find Celsius scales are calibrated from 0 degree to 100 degree, where these two temperatures are nothing but actually freezing point and boiling point of water, or melting point and boiling point of water respectively. So, generally our thermometer is expressed, calibrated with the help of 0 degree to 100 degree, where these two temperatures are purely the freezing point and the boiling point of water respectively. Okay. So, that is about the degree Celsius. And in case of Fahrenheit scale, it is represented between 32 degree to 212 degree. If you go through the Fahrenheit scale, it is commonly used in the medical field by the doctors. There you will find 32 degree to 212 degree. Next, the temperatures on these two scales are related. That means the relationship between the two scales, degree Celsius and Fahrenheit, can be established, can be expressed in this way. So, that is degree Fahrenheit is equals to 9/5 into degree Celsius plus 32. So, here if we want to convert degree Celsius into Fahrenheit or vice versa, we are using this formula. Students, note down this formula. This formula is very important. So, degree Fahrenheit 9/5 into degree Celsius plus 32. So, that is about the what relationship between degree Fahrenheit and degree Celsius. And next point is about the Kelvin scale with Celsius scale. The formula is Kelvin is equals to degree Celsius plus 273.15. If we want to convert degree Celsius into Kelvin, this formula is going to be used, or you can convert the Kelvin into degree Celsius, you can interpret with this formula. So, these two are very important formula along with those units. So, in the next session, I am going to take the problems on these simplest formulas. Okay. So, last we will see about the thermometers. Different kind of thermometers are there, and they are producing or they are providing different temperatures. So, here you can see 37 degrees Celsius is the human body temperature. In terms of Fahrenheit, it was 98.6. Room temperature was considered as 25 degrees Celsius, whereas in terms of Fahrenheit, it was around 77 degree Fahrenheit. 0 degree Celsius is the freezing point of water, whereas 32 degree Fahrenheit is nothing but the freezing point of water. 100 degree Celsius is the boiling point of water, but that is in terms of degree Fahrenheit, it was 212 degree Fahrenheit. So, that means the scale is the same, only thing is Fahrenheit point of view, it starts from 32 to 212, degree Celsius 0 to 100, Kelvin 273.15 to 373 Kelvin. And one point I would like to tell you from this, you may get negative values or negative components in case of degree Celsius, -4 degree, -5 degree, like that. But in case of Kelvin, always you will get the positive values. So, that is the main difference between the degree Celsius and the Kelvin. So, in case of Kelvin, all the values, whatever the values are there, whatever the temperature that are mentioned are purely positive numbers, whereas in case of degree Celsius, you may get negative values. Okay. So, students, while coming the next class, be prepared for those units and prefixes which are used in the SI system, and in the next session we will see about the problems related to this, that is prefixes, that is conversion factors, along with another important, that is conversion of degree Celsius to Fahrenheit and vice versa. Okay, thank you students.